What's up, everyone? How y'all doing out there? It's me, KG, Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review, talking Rockets. Another win for the Rockets. They held on. They made it interesting. It wasn't boring in that fourth quarter. Final score: Rockets 121, Atlanta Hawks 114. Rockets 47-26 on the season. 3 more wins to get 50. Wow, I was wrong as the day is long on that one. I am, of course, KG Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. Let's get in it. Let's get at it. Give me your thoughts. Hit me up here on the YouTube channel of the Houston Roundball Review, or if you follow me watching the show on the Houston Roundball Review Facebook page, comment there as well. Your thoughts on it. First few minutes of the first quarter, Rockets were sleeping. Hawks were pounding them on the glass. Rockets seemed just disinterested, bored, missed a wake-up call, whatever you want to call it. After timeout, they woke up, got after it, raced to a big lead. Hawks started throwing up bricks left and right. Trae Young seemed disinterested. Rockets had a big lead, led by, let me see, 25 points. 25 points, 90-65 in the third quarter. Lead shrunk to 4, 98-94 in the fourth quarter. What were your thoughts on why did that happen? Let's talk about that. Why did the Rockets lead shrink from 25 to 4? Solar, how are you doing? Rockets are now up 2 over Denver for that second spot. Nuggets lost to the Bulls Monday night after beating the Rockets Sunday night. But yes, the Rockets are solo. They're getting closer to wrapping up the 2 seed. The Clippers are half game behind the Warriors. Clippers are in 7th. Warriors are in 6th. Of course, the Warriors, if they fall to 7, would be in the play-in. But they'd have to win just 1 game to clinch the 7th seed in the playoffs. A Rockets-Warriors first-round matchup, y'all told me that's not what y'all wanted. Has that changed? What do you think about that? But yes, what are your thoughts on what did the Rockets stop doing, or did the Hawks start doing to cut 21 points off that 25-point lead in the third quarter? Jamon, how are you? Good win. Jalen Green played well. Complicated, you see that? Jalen Green played well. Calvin said the Rockets got bored. They got bored in the first quarter, too. And let the Hawks catch up. Terrence Mann was on the floor for much of that comeback as Trae Young was on the bench. Trae Young, boy, he had 19 points, 12 assists, 5 turnovers, and there were times in the game Trae Young seemed like he wanted to be anywhere else but on the basketball court. The passes he made were careless. His defense was non-existent. And like I said, he was on the bench when the Hawks made that comeback. WK, how are you? Good win. Concerned about the ongoing scoring droughts and making the game more competitive than it should be. So Solo says Rockets were in zone for too long. And he adds Hawks started moving the ball quicker. I think Ime Udoka waited too long to call a timeout in the fourth quarter. Rockets led by 5. Jabari Smith Jr. hit back-to-back threes to push the lead to 11. That was pretty much it. Till the end of the game, Hawks made another run. Jamon likes this trend of Jabari getting hot from 3. Helped us get out of the drought and secure the win. A look at the numbers, some of the stats. Rockets did not shoot well from 3, but they shot well from the free throw line tonight, people. That's different than the 12 missed free throws they had Sunday in the loss to Denver. 26 for 29 from the line tonight. 51 rebounds, 17 assists. And was effective. Hawks, 43 for 103. 15 for 49 from three. Got hot in the fourth quarter. Made the game interesting. 42 rebounds, 32 assists. Back to the ball movement that Solo touched on. Only 14 turnovers. Rockets scored 15 points off of those 14 turnovers. Not too complicated favorite Rocket, Jalen Green, 32 points, 14 for 24 from the floor overall, 1 for 7 from three. I know that's, and he had his mid-range game, his step-back floater going. Only took 5 free throws, made 3 of them, but he had 11 rebounds. So he crashed the boards. Fred, 21 points. 5 for 14 overall, 3 for 8 from three, 8 for 8 from the line. 4 boards, 3 assists, 1 turnover. Mr. Shingun, 8 for 19 overall from the floor. Scored 18 points, 2 for 2. Perfect from free throw line. Just 2 attempts. 9 boards, 5 assists, 1 turnover. The aforementioned Jabari Smith Jr., 17 points, 5 for 12 from the floor, 3 for 9 from three, including 2 clutch threes in that fourth quarter. 4 for 4 from the line, 5 boards, 1 assist. Tari Eason didn't shoot the ball well, 3 for 10 overall, 0 for 3 from three, 4 free throws, 4 for 4, 14 rebounds. He crashed the boards. He missed a dunk. He did some Tari Eason things in the game. Dylan Brooks, 10 points, 3 for 9 overall, 2 for 7 from three, 0 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers. One more stat. Combined, Rockets 54-52 in the paint and 20-17 in second chance points. Final score, your Houston Rockets 121, the Atlanta Hawks 114. WK likes how Jalen was aggressive, getting to the rim, and he had one bully ball basket. He just backed Krejci down like he was nothing. From the free throw line to the basket. Like, look at this. But that was good. More positive than negatives to win. Is Jabari Smith considered a bust according to his draft position? Being number 1 overall pick, I mean, Anthony Bennett is a bust according to his draft position. Okay, that's a bust. That's the definition of a bust. Does he have an all-star selection in the future? He could get hot one first half of the season. It could happen. The position's kind of tough for him to make it as an all-star. It's possible, but he's not a bust just because he's number 1 overall pick. If he had a bigger role on another team, he might do better. But his role, he's shining in his role. He's becoming a star in his role with the Rockets. And what's done is done. You can't erase what happened. He was the first overall pick. I said I was wrong on it when I thought he'd have a better career than Paolo. Wrong. But in the long run, if Jabari is on the team and the Rockets win the championship, who the hell cares? I mean, really. Alpe's touch around the rim in the paint. He's in a slump. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about. Yeah, he's kind of struggling there. So, yeah, WK kind of echoes my comments. Contributing players can't be a bust, in his opinion. After you're drafted, be a star in your role. I mean, after 1 year, Reed Shepard at the third pick in the draft looks like a bust after 1 year. But in his role with the Rockets is diminished. Cam Whitmore. Just making sure. Ime again, 8-man rotation. Amin Thompson was a late scratch due to left ankle soreness. The three reserves who played tonight, Jabari Smith, Steven Adams, and Aaron Holiday. Not Cam Whitmore. Could have been a matchup issue. Aaron, better, quicker defender for Trae Young. But once Amin was the late scratch, I kind of thought, I wonder if Cam would get some minutes tonight. Nope. 8-man rotation. And Cam Whitmore does not look like he is going to be part of that 8-man rotation. Thoughts on that? Is that a sign of the summer? Hope Amin's injury isn't too serious. I don't know if he stepped on someone's foot in practice, pregame, little freak thing, or just some wear and tear. Who knows? But he felt it wasn't right before the game, and he decided to talk to the staff and trainers and everything and said, hey, let's sit down tonight. Don't worry about it. Don't risk it. Playoffs are here. Rockets will be in the playoffs. 9 games to go. Got a road trip coming up. There are 2 games on top for that second spot in the West. Who'd have thought that? I know I didn't. I did not see that coming. Off topic. Who is y'all's coach of the year? Seriously, who is y'all's coach of the year? Coach OKC coach, Coach Dagno, Kenny Atkinson in Cleveland, Ime, JB Bickerstaff in Detroit. Who is y'all's coach of the year? I'm just curious. Some spectacular seasons by OKC and the Cavs. Rockets have exceeded their win expectations. Detroit has shocked the entire NBA world. Picked up their 41st win tonight. 27-game turnaround. Jamon says, Udoka. Solo says Cavs or Pistons coach. WK. Amazing how Ime is not even mentioned in those conversations. I mean, they won 41 games last year after stinking. They've improved upon that. It's hard to do to go from good to great. That's hard to do. Jamon, going back to Cam. Whitmore's going to be traded. It's a shame he had high hopes for him. Oh, Juan was at the game. That's cool. Juwan Roberts, Houston Cougar. Udoka does like Whitmore. Jalen and Cam will be an explosive trade bait for Zion or Giannis. I can see Zion. I don't know about Giannis. But hey, as we all learned, if Luka can be traded, anybody can be traded. WK states, Aaron was hot early and helped the Rockets build that early lead. They needed his shooting versus Denver during that scoring drought. Solo hopes Ime doesn't win because of the Coach of the Year curse. Not too complicated. Says Udoka has to win it if he finishes second in the West. Most consider them for the play-in, me included. So yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what the results. Got some qualified coaching candidates for Coach of the Year. Kind of curious how voters what criteria they'll use to decide their choice. I mean, the Cavs and OKC's up 13 games. 13 games in the West. 13. Cavs have kind of cooled off a little bit. They're 57-14. So they're no longer on that 70 win pace. But they'll get 60. They should get 60. 11 games to go, 57 wins. And again, Detroit, a 27-game turnaround. 27-game turnaround from 14 wins to 41. WK, Coach of the Year is typically one in arrears. JB deserves a nod this year. Nobody expected. I thought they'd be competitive. I think people in Detroit media, competitive, not necessarily equate to wins, but I thought they'd be competitive. Not more than getting 30, but 30 wins, but I thought they'd be competitive for sure. Solo asked the question, who would want to, wrong one. Space Age, how are you doing? My fault. Get back to that in a second. Who would I want the Pistons to play in the first round? The Knicks. That was before. I don't believe the Pistons are going to win their first round matchup, whoever it is. They're going to compete and end that streak of not having a win in the playoffs, going back 15 years, however long it is. Pacers are a bad matchup for them. Giannis is a bad matchup for them. Just horrible matchup for them. But now Dame is out, most likely, indefinitely. If you have not heard, did not read about it, see it. Milwaukee Bucks guard Damian Lillard has a blood clot in his leg. So he's on medication for that. So he'll be out indefinitely and probably postseason. Space Age, no worries about no one. I appreciate folks who type comments like this about apologizing for being late. No worries, no problem. Just join the conversation, get in where you fit in. It's all good. As Complicated pointed out to me, I started the show late, so it's all good. No worries whatsoever. But I appreciate it. Not too complicated. What type of move do the Rockets need to make in order to catch OKC? Ooh, that's a good question. Let's talk about that. That is the next topic for tonight. What do you think? Complicated, Space Age, WK, J-Mon, Solo, anybody else who's watching but not commenting? Don't be shy. Thank you for watching. Your comments, as long as they are respectful and not profanity filled, are welcome here on the show. What do y'all think? What moves do the Rockets need to make to catch OKC? I mean, part of it, I think, is some experience. Playoff experience, that'll help. And then we'll see what's the biggest flaw. Did I expect a 9-10 seed to be competitive or a 6 seed on the verge of 4 seed competitive? The fact that, Phoenix starting to win games, Solo. They're starting to win. Joseph, how are you doing? Thank you for commenting. Appreciate that. Keep them coming from you. Tell your friends about the post-game show here on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. We're talking Rockets 121, 114 win over the Hawks, but also playoff matchups, playoff positioning, what the Rockets need to do to catch OKC. Joseph states, Whitmore upside is higher than you mean Reed Shepard? You talking about that? Or Austin Reeves? Did I miss that in a trade proposal in the line? Jamon says, leaning towards avoiding making a big trade for an expensive superstar. The Rockets should try to trade for someone promising that's still on a rookie deal. WK, well, that'd be nice. The Rockets need a superstar like SGA to catch OKC. I got you, Joseph. No worries, man. And you're stating, WK, that superstar is not currently on the roster, Rockets roster, correct? Asleep Art says none have to stay young since they are the same age as OKC. OKC still has a ton of picks. Space Aid says build through the draft. You know, it sounds like I'm copping out on the answer, but I really want to see how they perform in the playoffs to provide a better indication of what they need in the offseason. So let's start with that. Not too complicated. NTC states if a man gets a jump shot and Jalen, he's hard on Jalen. Well, he is tough on Jalen. Gets traded is a great start. Maybe a center that actually is known for blocking shots. I mean, Şengün gets a block shot every, he had one tonight. I think he blocked a Trae Young driving layup attempt. Solo with our only hope for the Rockets' only hope is for the Mavs to pass the Suns. Yeah, well, AD's back. I mean, he played. But Phoenix is a half game ahead of Dallas. Suns have won 4 in a row. They're now in the 10th spot. Heck, they're only a half game behind Sacramento for the 9th spot. So those are Sacramento, Phoenix, Dallas. Those three teams, those three teams are fighting for 2 spots, the 9 and 10 spot for the play-in. So that will be interesting. And they'll face each other in that 9-10 game. So we'll see how that all plays out. Sacramento has 11 games left in the regular season. The Suns have 10. Kings have lost 3 in a row. The Suns have won 4 in a row. Derek, how you doing? Space A says KD is not worth it. Just sounds good. I agree. But I go back to it. If the ambassador says after that first round and the Rockets lose in the first round, Rafael, I want Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's gonna be a Rocket. Derek, how are you doing? Appreciate you joining the rest of the LTHR family. Joseph, you may not be wrong. Derek says the Rockets need to build through the draft and continue to add veterans. Joseph says Whitmore will average 20 plus as soon as the Rockets trade him. And you're not going to find a scorer like Jalen Green in a trade. Tell that to not too complicated. Not too complicated. Nailed it. I don't believe Rockets need to make a trade. I just don't. But let's see how it goes in the playoffs. Somebody may just flame out. Make this flame out and just disappoint so greatly that their performance is like, damn, Rockets got to trade him. He was awful. I'm not expecting that, but it could happen. Who knows? Space Aid says Rockets should not care who they play. I don't believe the players care. The fans care. Media cares. But yeah, they've locked in and focused and just worry about the next opponent on the regular season schedule. And then once the playoff matchups are determined, then worry about who you face in the first round. A sleep art would take Durant over Booker. That was more and more the talk on Sunday's show. More and more folks have now kind of gone away from acquiring Devin Booker. Derek states Cam would be a big trade. That's 2 shows in a row. Complicated. If you want to replace Jalen, go get Jordan Clarkson. They are the same players. All right. Edward, how are you doing? Thank you for joining the discussion. Anybody notice, Edward states, anybody noticing Jabari finally taking the next step? He is an X factor coming back from the injury. He, like I said earlier, he hit 2 big 3-pointers when the lead was 5 to push the Rockets lead back to 11 in the fourth quarter. Solo thinks we'll see how great of a coach Ime is in the playoffs. But back to one of my questions. When the lead shrunk, when the Hawks were making their comeback in the fourth quarter, let me check the play-by-play. Did y'all want Ime to call a timeout earlier, quicker, sooner? Because fourth quarter, Rockets, the fourth quarter began with the Rockets up 94-74. Hawks scored 8 of the next 10 points to cut it to 14. Then a turnover, a shot clock violation. Okongwu made a 3, cut it to 11. Then Ricochet with a layup, cut it to 9. Right there, I thought should have been a timeout. That's with 9 minutes to go in the fourth. Jalen Green scored a layup, pushed it to 11. Then the lead shrunk to 8, 7, 6, and then 4 at the 7:20 mark, and that's when Ime called timeout. I thought that was too late. Thought he waited too late to call timeout. Deverick states the veteran showed big help on development with the process. Joseph is taking the Jalen Green, the positive Jalen Green vantage point, and while not too complicated, taking the anti Jalen Green vantage point. In the Green class, no other player has as many 40 and 30-point games. Kevin Anderson, thank you, Kevin, for joining the discussion tonight. These Rocket fans are ridiculous. Every player is not going to be an all-star. Be a star in your role. You must be a Cougar follower. The championship Rockets had one all-star until they traded for Clyde. Fans have different perspectives, outlooks, expectations. It's part of what makes this show fun and interesting. Kevin, Joseph, do either of you believe the Rockets should make a trade, or what do the Rockets need to do to catch OKC? Continue to build through the draft, trade for an impact player, and if you think that, who was that player? Part of the discussion. Complicated states with a comeback. With all due respect, lottery picks should not be role players. Talking about Jabari. Well, it depends on the team, too. He's been passed up by Şengün, Omin, and Jalen Green. Deverick says the Rockets had no business letting the Hawks come back like that. Ooh. In place of who? Jock Landale? I mean, where do you see? I don't know where he'd fit. Yeah. I don't know where he'd fit with the Rockets. Great passer. Is he what the Rockets need? Joseph says trade the pick. But Joseph, it's the Suns' pick. What if the Rockets catch lottery luck and win the lottery and get the first pick in the draft? Then what? Just putting it out there. It might happen. It could happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Solo's been pushing for that for a while, for a few weeks, if not months, with the Rockets having the Suns pick. I mean, if the Rockets, a few prior shows, Rockets get the first pick, win the lottery. Fans wanted the Rockets to draft Cooper Flag with that pick if they win the lottery. Beyond that, second, third pick, it probably more Rocket fans, more people here in this discussion wanted to keep it if it was top 3, but other than that, trade it. Complicated says Rockets cannot catch OKC without getting a true MVP. If the picks keep coming out like Jalen and Jabari, then just go get Anthony Edwards or wait on a man to get a jump shot. Wow, this is an interesting comment here. Ayush, thank you for the comment. Thank you for joining the discussion. Şengün needs to be traded with how bad he's played this season if he keeps it up in the playoffs. That's kind of harsh. His shooting in the paint and around the rim has fallen off a cliff. But I wouldn't say he's played poorly. I mean, he was an all-star first part of the season. But again, I'm curious to see how these guys do in the playoffs. Complicated for you. What if Jalen Green shines in these playoffs? Carries the Rockets, is the best player in the series. Carries the Rockets to a first-round playoff win. Does that change your outlook on Jalen Green and his future with the Rockets? Joseph says, use the simulator, 14th pick, moves up 130 in 30 times, 1 in 30 times. Yeah, I mean, it's rare. I mean, I'm not going to dispute that. Jamon states, Şengün is a player with the best chance of becoming a star. Deverick, we don't need another Reed Shepherd top pick. I wasn't sold on Reed as a top 3 pick. Just wasn't. But it's done now. Kevin states, trade your two guard for Zion at forward. So what do you do with your 2 guard? Holiday, please don't say Reed. I don't see Reed being here beyond the summer. Asleep Art asked the question, why need for a trade? Teams that win a chip are usually the healthiest team in the matchup. Just need to keep getting better. Space Age, it's harsh, but LP needs a perimeter game. Seriously, he has to strengthen his weakness, which is his shooting. Not too complicated. Laughs at my big what if scenario. He will not shine in the playoffs. What will happen is exactly how Denver treated him. Just pick on Jalen until he becomes unplayable in the clutch. Jalen will never make an all defensive team ever. Okay. But other than him, his rookie year before he got drafted, even I remember him saying this at media day, that his goal was to be all defense as a rookie. And I was like, young fella, come on now. That really? So he may never make all defense. But is that your criteria? You want him to be a great player on both ends of the floor. Is that what's going to take for you to stop being so critical of Jalen? Just asking. Kevin Anderson states, Amin is your next all-star. He is an all-around player. His defense is elite already. Solo states, if Stone can trade Cam for someone significantly better, he'll be happy. Here's a trade proposal. Reed, 14th pick, Tariq Eason for Zion. Ayush responds to complicated statement. Jalen isn't supposed to make all defense. He just needs to be solid. I think he's becoming solid. Jalen's ceiling is high. I agree. I think he's getting better. He's playing through injuries, banged up, playing through pain. At times, he still does make the game too complicated. He tries to just do. He doesn't keep the game simple enough. And if he learns that, when the summer comes, and we're going to get a good look to see how these guys do in the playoffs. We can say a lot of stuff right now. But until we see how they perform in the playoffs, their first playoff, I'm talking about the youngsters, their first playoffs, we have no idea how they're going to perform. Some of them may shine. Some of them may fail under the bright lights. Let's find out and provide a better indication of the Rockets' plans this offseason. That's why I'm looking forward to it. Ayush, Jalen has really stepped up his game. Even on his off game, he's still getting 25. Solo hasn't. What is this now? This is the March Jalen Green, right? He's playing. Isn't he playing better? He's getting better. Kevin Anderson, SGA wasn't a superstar when they traded for him. He developed his game. Asleep says Jalen is still learning and still improving. He had a jump in many areas other than scoring. Playmaker. I think playmaking, he's gotten better as a playmaker. Not too complicated states. He agrees with Kevin. A man is the Rockets' future MVP. Believes you can win a championship when your supposedly best guard can't defend. Does Jalen act like he's a student of the game? He's gotten better in that area. He's getting better. His defense, I'm going to say this and it sounds weak. His defense has improved. His effort on defense has improved. Is it elite? No. Is he a Amen Thompson? No. But, I mean, hell, Şengün could be a matchup problem come playoff time on defense. We're going to see, like I said, we're going to see what teams exploit in the playoffs and really shine a light on the areas Rockets need to improve personnel, strength, depth, whatever. We're going to see it. Solo says March Jalen is a real thing now. Joseph says green for flag. Space Aid with a bold take. Thinks Jalen will get a 40-piece in this year's playoffs, maybe twice. I didn't say he was a shot blocker. Vertical game, he still gets he blocked Trae Young shot tonight, didn't he? People do not fear Şengün as a shot blocker. Think about it. I mean, he's not Wemby. Who the hell is? But one block a game alters shots. Steven Adams alters shots. He's not a great vertical leaper. He alters shots. There's a difference between is that what's holding the Rockets back? Is a shot blocker? Solo, imagine if Cam gets minutes in the playoffs and balls out. That would be something. That would be something. See, LP not being a shot blocker is not a big issue as this. I think he's going to be picked on in the playoffs and pick and roll. That is a bigger problem, a bigger concern than him not being a shot blocker. And I'm curious to see how often the Rockets employ the zone defense, because I think the more people see it in the playoffs, it's going to get exploited. You attack it, make it collapse, and have a person cut baseline, going to get layups and dunks all day long in the playoffs. Who would I take? Well, it depends on where it is in the lottery. And if it's not top three, I'm trading it. Too many youngsters on the team. I'm not keeping it if it's not a top 3 pick. Rockets have too many youngsters as it is, and who aren't playing. And the more they're ready for the playoffs, the less time those youngsters have to play and get minutes and improve here. Not going to happen. But again, recap, if you're joining last few minutes, final score tonight, Rockets beat the Hawks 121-114. Rockets are now 47-26 this season. Hawks 35-37. Rockets are 2 games up on Denver for that second spot in the West. Hell of a year for the Houston Rockets. Rockets led 90-65 in the third quarter. Lead shrunk to 4, 98-94 with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Jabari Smith made 2 clutch threes in the fourth. Hawks made another run late in the fourth, but the Rockets did enough to get the win and improve to 47-26 this season. Jalen Green, 32 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 turnovers. He had less turnovers on Sunday, so he's got to be consistent there. Keep it around 2 a game, not more than that. 4 and 5, that's too many. Fred VanVleet, 21 points, perfect 8 for 8 from the line, 4 boards, 3 assists, 1 turnover. Jabari, 17 points, 5 boards, 3 for 9 from 3. Tari Eason, 14 rebounds, 10 points. Different guys stepped up. That, all right, here we go. Here we go. The fact that supposedly the Rockets' best players could get picked on, that seemed like a red flag for the future. Well, I think you're being difficult, because how many teams have 5 great defensive players in the starting lineup? Every team has a weak link, and it's up to the opponents to exploit that weak link, while it's up to the head coach, to hide and mask that weak link. So I mean, it's just matchups. Why is Holiday playing over Cam? Oops, there we go. Well, tonight, Aaron was a better matchup against Trae Young. Cam couldn't do anything with Trae Young on defense. Really? I mean, come on now with that. Space Age, Cam he's in the house. And his defense and his consistency on defense were not going to be a great test against Trae Young tonight. And I agree with this. Yeah. Complicated. People pick on LP all the time, too. I mean, we could go, who was? I forgot who it was critical of me talking about the Rockets and Lakers. Rockets having problems with the Lakers because the Lakers lack a defense. Luka defense is not great. Folks say LeBron's defense has gotten worse. He's 40 plus years old. But I'm saying every team has a weak link in the starting 5. At least one. And come playoff time, the opponents are going to try to exploit those advantages. Everybody. Joker's not a great defensive player, especially one-on-one. It's gotten worse. Hell, he has to carry such a heavy load offensively. His defense has regressed. So, I mean, we're really picking at stuff here. Your argument is getting kind of weak. Like it's almost like it's personal against you and Jalen. His defense has gotten better. He's never going to be a Man Thompson. But I don't believe he's a turnstile like he used to be. And one thing I'm saying about his defense, which cannot be said his rookie year, is he's competing on defense and he's giving a damn. That's a start right there. unlike one of his teammates who doesn't play anymore. And y'all know what I'm talking about. First things first, you have to want to play defense. You have to compete. And with his head coach, if Jalen's defense was so awful and crappy, I'll say something else. I'm almost there for a second. You think Ime would have played him so much? If his defense was this bad as you're saying it is? Come on now, man. Come on. Would trading for a player like KD stunt the growth of the Rockets' young players? Yes. But if KD is brought here for a trade involving Reed Shepherd, Cam Whitmore, some picks, and Jock Landale, your core isn't really impacted. So it depends on what Phoenix will take. But it all starts with what Tillman wants. And then hopefully, if Tillman does say to Rafael, I want Kevin Durant, Rafael makes a deal that makes sense for the Rockets without zapping his young core. But, and the Cougars, this ain't the pros. The Cougars defense, a lot of the Cougar players are not NBA players. So they're winning with defense and effort because they have to. Because they're not elite offensive talents. This year's Cougar team is the best, maybe the best Coach Sampson has had because he has guys who are shooting a higher percentage from three. But there's still not a lot of NBA players on the Houston Cougars team. But they compete, bust their ass, rotate great. But yeah, But these Rockets compete, bust their ass. They don't shoot well. And I think that's going to be a problem come the playoffs. But for the most part, we can't question the effort of most of the Rockets. I think there's a reason why some of the Rockets are not playing and are not in rotation. You can question their effort or their lack of effort. But I'm not pushing for the Rockets to trade for KD. Not at all. Because KD will shrink the Rockets' window of success. Right now, the Rockets' window to compete and win a championship with the young core, you add, you tweak to it, don't blow it up. I mean, we're looking at at least 5 years. Space Age, I agree with you. To get Kevin Durant, it shrinks to like 2. That's not a winning scenario in my opinion. But I'm not the GM. I'm not the owner. But we shall see. Rockets next game Thursday on the road against Utah. Utah's going through the motions. I think they got waxed, right? I think they got waxed tonight. Or are getting waxed. Good grief. They gave up 140 to Memphis tonight. Damn, 140. Whew. So that should be a win for the Rockets, even though, he thought that the first time in Utah. So we'll see. It's a road game. 8 o'clock start on Thursday. Probably going to do a Rockets post-game show Thursday. But I can't promise you that because I might be in college basketball mode. I'm not even sure who the late game is in college on Thursday. So I may be doing that one. Watching that game. So, KJ Martin airball to 3. Well, not his strong point. Joseph says need a point with defense. Somebody better than Aaron Holiday on defense. Oh, well, Okay, now I'm going to be picky because, you know, I'm a Detroit fan. Cade is a cornerstone, but Cade's defense prior to this year wasn't good either. Cade's defense one-on-one was trash. Part of that was he had an awful coach last year, and now he has a head coach holding him accountable. His defensive effort has gotten better. But, oh, yeah, Cade's defense, there's a reason why Detroit's big men got in foul trouble last year because the perimeter defense was garbage. It was just garbage. They were turnstiles. Hell, no. They were escorts, just letting their guys, just helping them get to the rim last year. So they gotten better defensively. It's, it's not a coincidence, in my opinion, that in most cases, the team that win or start to win is because they've improved on defense. That's part of their improvement. Detroit got better defensively and added some 3-point veterans as well, but you got to play defense to win and be successful, win at a high clip. You have to want to play defense. Got to compete defensively. Thank you, MC. Yeah, I want to see JT Toppin. But might be able to squeeze in a Rockets post-game show. Might not be a long one. Probably go maybe 30 minutes on Thursday after the game, which should be a Rockets win over Utah. Should be. Underline should. Should be. And with that win, Rockets move another step closer to clinching that second spot in the West. Yes. But they get exposed the deeper they go into the playoffs. Because at some point, you got to stop people. At some point, you got to stop folks. Because your offense is going to go cold. You run into a team that can slow you down, force you to take bad threes and cool you off. Yeah. But, I'm a defensive guy first, so I'm not going to give a lot of credit to people who run a gun offensively. But, it works to a point. I'll just say it like that. Complicated says Jordan Clarkson will go off. He might. Joseph said Cam is heading to Jersey, New York. Well, more and more of us during these discussions believe Cam will be traded this summer. He's young, got a bright future on offense, but it's up to him. He has a lot of natural ability. But it's up to him to be better on both ends of the floor. If all he wants to do is shoot, he's not going to play here. And if you don't understand that, well, he'll be somewhere else. And Jordan Clarkson, as Solo pointed out, might not play because, yeah, the Jazz are in that mode. They're in that mode. I mean, 140 points to the Grizzlies. And I'm looking at the box score. Triple J, Santi Aldama, Jalen Wells, Desmond Bain, Scottie Pippen. Off the bench, Jay Huff, Zach Edey, and Vince Williams each scored 15 points. No Ja in Memphis scored 140. No Ja Morant in Memphis scored 140 against Utah. Jazz did not play the aforementioned Mitchell Clarkson. It was Filipowski, Cody Williams, Walker Kessler, Colin Sexton, Isaiah Collier, KJ Martin in one of his air ball threes, bright center ball. I mean, hell, something. Okay, here it is. Halftime score. Utah was up 65-64. Utah lost the second half 76-38. 76-38. Damn. 76-38. 38. Woo. That'll do it. That'll do it. That'll do it. So it's a Utah gave up 140. So they might want to play some defense Thursday against the Rockets. They might want to compete, put forth better effort on defense Thursday. But Thursday is a game the Rockets should win. Period. This kind of surprised me. And I mean, I know the finals. Last I saw, the score was like a rout. Let me see. 112-86, Miami over Golden State. It's almost as if a certain player named Curry, he's kind of important to the Warriors' success. But we'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk Rockets Jazz on Thursday. Thank you, everybody, for tonight. During the discussion, for your comments, your questions. Spread the word about this show. Spread the word about the Houston Roundball Review on YouTube. Spread the word. And last question, I'll take this. Would I rather be in position to get flagged like the Jazz, be the Rockets who do not have a clear answer? I do have questions about Cooper's one-on-one defense. His help defense is very good. But we shall see. I'd rather be the Rockets than the Utah Jazz. But that'll do it, everyone. Spread the word about this show. Spread the word about this channel. So since the Rockets play Thursday, we'll have another post-game show. And then Friday, the Cougs play the late game Friday. And I'll be part of the Let's Rage Cougs post-game show, discussing what I believe will be a Cougs win over Purdue. Looking forward to that matchup as well. But as always, thank you, Jamon, WK, Solo, Kevin, Not Too Complicated, Space Age, Jamon, Ayush, Joseph, MC, June. Join me on Thursday. Bring a friend, tell a friend. And we're going to do it again. And I'm going to wrap it up as I always do. If you are a regular member of the LTHR family, you know this. But if you are a new member of the family, this is for you. Since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review. Local name, global perspective. Everyone, take care. Peace.
Game over. Game